we are going to talk about gratitude. But before we start talk about gratitude, I'm going to just introduce the U.S. Values Alliance. And I was about to say, I'm very grateful for the U.S. Values Alliance. And David, Susan, Evan, Stefan, and Chuck, I just am so grateful that you all have this this ability and this desire to share positive values to the world because it's just so important. And so, as you can all read, this is what it is. And so, I just want to say, David, do you want to say anything before we move on?
I well, I think everybody here knows us well. Perhaps Avira might be the only one, but you're basically looking at the U.S. Values Alliance, and thanks to Darby, who hopefully will be able to join us more regularly. But Darby is one of the very first people I met when I started doing international values work and working with Richard Barrett. So it's been a while, and it's great to see her again. But yeah, the idea is essentially to get people together who think that deeper discussions on values will improve and create a healthier world. So thank you, Joanne, for leading this and the beautiful design there too. I love that.
Okay, you're welcome. So, I had lots of fun doing this. Okay, so that's US Values Alliance. So, now let's go. Who am I? So, I am Joanne Morton, and that's my website, joannemorton.com. I'm an artist, and a few years ago, I started calling myself a positive energy artist. And I called myself a positive energy artist not to negate that there aren't bad things in the world, and there's not, it's not all about being happy, happy, happy all the time, but it's about sharing positive energy. And I create art and experiences that share because the more of us that share positive energy, there's more out there. And just a little disclaimer, we might get a little on the woo-woo side, but just go with it because you know what? It's time and you're ready for it. So anyway, so positive energy artist, and I'm a painter. I'll just briefly. I'm a painter, and I also do performances and experiences. Um, and Evan, question, comment? Oh, just hi.
No, that was a mistake. I was trying to. Yes, all good.
No, no, no. It's never a mistake to say hey. Okay. So, yeah. But where I really thrive and get excited about is creating creative experiences. Like I said, I love making art, but I love creating art together. I actually went to film school, and I think the reason I was drawn to film is you get to create experiences. I have since moved from making films because I don't want to spend $5 million and have nothing to do with it, just a waste of money. Yeah, me. But creating experiences, in-person events that people can make their own film, your own experiences. So there are ways I love doing that. I love doing laughter yoga. I have an immersive community art project where I invite people to walk through a hanging mobile where they get to visualize and see the visions and intentions of people all over the world. And then I also love gratitude. Gratitude is one of my favorite things. I first really came into creating a gratitude practice in 2003 when I was in a workshop, and the workshop woman leader asked us all to share 10 things we're grateful for, and then we email it to the 10 women in the workshop. And it was like a 10-week workshop, and then she had a second one. All the same women joined it. So for those, 10 weeks, you were sharing gratitude. And then she would have these monthly get-togethers where she would invite all the women that took her workshop. And at this event, at this monthly meeting, she would say, "Who wants to share a gratitude list?" And so we would get emails from all these different women. And I was consistently sharing gratitude with all these women for at least 5 or 6 years. And it was really a challenge one year that I was like, I was in New York, didn't know what to do. I subletted my apartment to interns. I went down to Miami to live for the summer with a friend. And I was like, I didn't have a job, what was I going to do? But I wrote a gratitude list every single day. And yeah, it was easy to be grateful for living in Miami with a mango tree in the backyard. But it was also challenging because how I had it was hard. But that gratitude really changed it. And that's what's so powerful about gratitude because when you are going through a challenge or something and you can find something to be grateful for, it shifts your perspective. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to stay stuck because everything is temporary. So gratitude has just always been, and just a fun fact is there is one woman from that workshop in 2003. I still get a gratitude list for her every single day. And that is just powerful. So that's a good exercise. A little, if you're ever looking to do something with a friend or with a colleague or something, share a gratitude list. You know, 5 things, 10 things a day. So that's gratitude. I'm not going to read this because we all know what gratitude is. So let's move to my gratitude circles in the squares. So I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I moved here in 2010. And has anybody been to Savannah? Either raise your hand or, walk through. So yeah, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And please come, you're always welcome. So Savannah was one of the first 13 colonies, and General Oglethorpe created the main master plan of the city, and he created these squares. And I put a map up here. So there's 23 squares. Some have been taken away, but some have been brought back. Actually, they've been kind of restoring some of them. And so when I moved down here, and you walk through these squares with the live oaks and the beautiful building, the old buildings, I was like, I want to do something in the squares, right? And so I thought, well, I could, write or paint. But then I was like, I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to do it every day in a row because that's a big commitment. I think there was 21 squares at the time. And so I didn't want to do something 21 days in a row. So I decided I will do a weekly gratitude share, gratitude circle. There is another place down in Brunswick, Georgia called Hostel in the Forest. And it's this place where you can go and sleep in these tree huts in the trees. It's amazing. It's been around since the 70s. Every day at their communal meal, they have a gratitude circle. And I've gone there, and you stand in a circle and you hold hands. It's so powerful. So I was like, I want to do this. And so I had also just opened a healing art space here with some friends. So it was also aligned with this space that I had. So I made a list of all the dates. I made a flyer. I stuck it up in various places around Savannah, promoted it on Facebook. There's Facebook groups. And I said, I'm going to go to a different square every single week at 12 o'clock. If somebody shows up, yay. If no, then I'll just meditate and take a picture and document it. Well, let me tell you, I never did one by myself. Never did one by myself. I actually didn't show up one time. But anyway, that's another story. It is a story. I'll tell you in a second. So anyway, so the first stuff, and I think I did an alphabetical order. So they were all over the place. I couldn't even it wasn't like going across the different squares. So like I said, okay, so I started, one person showed up. And then every week, people started showing up, and they started showing up. And it happened that the Wednesday and that year ended up on Christmas Day. And I don't really do big Christmas things. So like I can go to a square on a Christmas Day. 25 people showed up on Christmas Day. It was so powerful. The following week, it was New Year's Eve. Again, it was kind of rainy. I have this amazing photo, which I don't have to share. Amazing photo where we're standing in a circle with umbrellas, And so these two photos here, this photo on the top with showing the backs of us, that's kind of what it looked like when we were standing. Because when we first started coming, the first one I kind of just stood around and we just kind of didn't do anything. But then over time, like I think by the third one, when people were like, let's hold hands. And so that evolved out of this conversation with other people. I would say half the people I knew, often there were some complete strangers. A couple times tourists would be walking by and we're like, hey, you want to share gratitude? And they would pop in and say hi. I have some more pictures. So this one picture in the top was that professional photographer. I had 3 stories written about this in the local newspapers. So people really loved it. And then we also had a listing that was in the local newspaper, a weekly gratitude circle. And this one woman showed up, and we're still friends today. And she found it through the want to share gratitude with strangers, come to a square, go to this website. So these are more of the photos, but I ended up doing this between November 13th to October 26th. 3 years we did this. After the first initial 21, I told everybody, thank you so much. This is great. Let's keep doing it, Joanne. So I'm like, all right. So friendships were built. People have died who have come to these gratitude circles. Some of these people have passed on. And it was, like I said, I never did it by myself. And I would say the powerful thing about sharing gratitude with strangers that everyone really said was they were able to feel grateful for someone else. When you share when you share your gratitude, somebody else is going, oh, I'm so grateful for their grateful. And you're sharing that gratitude together. And I would always end the gratitude circles with us closing our eyes, focusing on our gratitude, and sharing that gratitude into the ether, and that's making that positive energy. Now, I don't know if there's scientific facts in this, but I'm just going to say it when we're sending positive energy into the universe and all that other good stuff, you really are shifting the collective consciousness. And that's really when you're sharing your values, you're sharing your consciousness, right? And in 2013, 2010, there wasn't a lot of talk about gratitude. But think about it, there is so much more talk about gratitude. And for me, I know part of it is because a group of people gathered every week in Savannah, Georgia, and we contributed to the greater picture and it helped it out. And that means every time you share gratitude with somebody and around, and it's a perfect way I always like it when businesses, gratitude data, businesses are sharing gratitude before or after they have a meeting, because I think it's really important to either just to ground yourself. And I've always really, you can never share gratitude appreciation too much. You can't. You just can't. That's why I always tell you guys how much I'm grateful for you, because it's never going to be, it's not too much. And I love it when people say they're grateful for me too. So it really is. And so when I was doing some research to have this, ROI stuff for the business people, I found so many scientific proof, so much research done that gratitude really does raise the motivation, the well-being, and even just the creative, the productiveness, because you want to feel appreciated. And monetizing is a great way to be appreciated, but just, hey, you're doing a good job, or I'm really grateful. Even though it's your job, we're still choosing to be there. No one's the boss of you. Remember that you are the boss of yourself. But I found this study from Glassdoor fascinating, because it said what motivates employees to work harder. 81% said when people show appreciation, over only 37 because they're afraid of losing their job. I think that was really fascinating. You want people to appreciate you. And I wish I could infiltrate the big box retail stores so much. That would be my fantasy job, is to go and teach big box retail management how to appreciate their retail workers. But we do have a retail worker. I'm not a big box store. I'm not sure. This is an old quote, but it was Best Buy, so maybe at one time. But I felt like this is a really important thing too. If the CEO is grumpy and that becomes acceptable attitude, then it's really hard to, it's a top-down thing, And so we have to find ways to find gratitude, or being a way of being. Gratitude is the attitude, right? Does they say that? Gratitude is the attitude. So there is proof that's better. And then we have gratitude is magic. So this is actually one of my, pieces. I like making affirmation art. This is one of my affirmation art. So this is why gratitude is magic, because everything I said, it changes things. It changes you. It changes, the universe. It changes everything. Gratitude changes everything. And so now what we're going to do, I'm going to stop my share. Because I think you can remember this. What we're going to do is we're going to share gratitude. We're going to have a gratitude circle. Yeah, that's it. Super duper easy, not complicated. And the way it goes is, and I'm going to stop sharing for this because I want us all just to be in the moment.